What's up, gamers? We're the Skyblock Scrubs, except there's only one of us. It's me, Count Jack. If you guys didn't see the last video that we posted, you should go watch that if you want to get caught up and know why Gundermutt isn't here today. Just gonna be me today, and also this is gonna be a much longer video than normal. Most of our videos are like 5 to 7 minutes. This one's gonna probably be around 20 minutes, more or less. So comment down below if you would prefer the longer videos like this one, or if you like us sticking with shorter ones. Final announcement before I get into the video is we are going to start streaming in 5 days. August 15th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time is when we will go live. So if you guys want, stay tuned for that, and it should be a pretty chill time. It'll be our first stream, so don't bully us in the comments. But yeah, we're both super pumped for that. Hope you guys are too. And our next video will be back to normal with both of us. So into the video. Alright guys, so this video is going to be on Skyblock Progression and how to progress through the game in the most efficient way possible, how to get the best items for the cheapest price. So the first item that you want to buy when you first start is the Undead Sword. This bad boy costs 100 coins, so it's definitely an early game weapon, and it's pretty solid for the early game because most of the mobs that you're going to be fighting are going to be undead. So, for example, zombies in the graveyard, all those mobs in the deep caverns that you might be fighting, this Undead Sword is going to do you a solid. Next up, we have just normal diamond armor, like vanilla armor or something like that. It costs 24 diamonds, which is pretty cheap. And yeah, it's not gonna shield you too much, but you know, you can tank a few hits from zombies. But moving on, soon after you get that, you're gonna want to, this is gonna be your first thing that you really have to save up for, is Lapis Armor. This is gonna cost you, I don't know, probably around 10k to buy the whole set if you buy it off the AH. Maybe less, but you can also just get it from killing Lapis zombies. So whatever way works for you, it's good. This armor is really nice for mining. It has decent defense and health. Its health is actually pretty good, especially for an early game armor set. And you get more experience when you mine ores with this, so it'll definitely help you in that aspect. So next up, you want to get yourself a pet. Probably the easiest pet you want to get is a bee. The reason why you want a pet is because it's a good way to make grinding a little less grindy. That sounds really dumb, but basically it kind of takes your mind off of that and you knock out a bunch of birds with one stone. Because let's say you're grinding, I don't know, like zombies in the graveyard. You might want like a tiger pet or something that boosts your combat. And then you level up the pet as you level up your combat XP, as you get coins. It's just another thing to do at once. Doing one task, knocking out 3 things that you need to get. Pets also can boost certain things. So like, for example, the tiger pet gives you more damage when you use it. So they're definitely pretty helpful. Next up on the list, the aspect of the end. Now this baby is pretty sweet. Even late game players still use this. They don't use it for actually like hitting the mobs with, but they use it for its ability. This baby is really sweet. So basically the ability is instant transmission. You teleport 8 blocks ahead of you and you gain 50 speed for 3 seconds. It only costs 50 mana, pretty cheap. And not only that, but it does 175 damage and plus 100 strength. So for a while, it's going to be your main weapon. You're not just going to use it for the ability, but you'll also use it for the damage. So let's say I want to go up. I just right click with this. Boom. I teleport up. So this is also a really sweet weapon. Not just for the damage, but also for the ability. Now, after you have your aspect to the end, you're going to be getting ready to try and do even more damage. So, in order to do more damage, you're going to need to get some talismans. Now, talismans each have a unique ability that they can kind of help you out with. They're not super useful. For example, the Feather Talisman makes it so you can fall 5 more blocks than you normally would before you take fall damage. So that one's actually like one of the better ones, but the point is the abilities aren't usually that good. But what's good about them is you can reforge them, and what that does is it gives you certain stat boosts. If you want a guide on which reforges to do for which talismans, there's so many out there. Just search like Talisman Reforge or something on YouTube, and you're good. So, once you have some common talismans, just some nice cheap ones, you're going to do a lot more damage. And then you're going to try and grind some coins. This is where the Raider Axe comes in. This thing, it costs 135k, I'm pretty sure. And so it's pretty expensive, I'll admit. But it's going to be a grind to get, but once you get it, oh, juicy value. You do so much damage with it. And not only that, but it gives you 20 extra coins per monster kill. So you really rack up the coins really fast with this. And then as we progress through here, the Raider Axe is going to be essential to get your coins to buy some of these next things. So about the same time that you get the Raider's Axe, you're going to want to get a rabbit pet. So by this time you've probably built a pumpkin or sugarcane farm, and the rabbit pet is really good for it. You're going to want a rare rabbit pet. I know this one's common, it's just for showing, but basically it's really good because it gives you farming XP boost, which is really helpful. Plus it gives you a decent amount of speed, so you can farm more efficiently. Now you've farmed for a while, you've got quite a few kills with your Raider Axe, maxed it out, you're getting tons of coins. Now it's time to make a magma cube farm. So right behind me here, we have one actually. Basically, the magma cubes spawn, and then they fall down, and then they die to the cactus. So right now, we're only using it for one pig minion. As you can see, it falls down, goes down the water, and it eventually dies to the cactus. This guy's being difficult because he's swimming the other way, but eventually he will die. You guys can see it here in a second. So see, he fell down there, and he will die right now. So, boom, I killed Technoblade 2020 right there. Yeah, so this is our Magma Cube farm. Again, you guys can search a tutorial on how to make one. You can see it here, roughly, if you don't feel like it. If you need to, pause the video here, but I don't think you guys should need to. Anyways, what happens is they spawn the magma cubes, they die to the cactus, and then you have a collection system underneath to collect all the magma cream. Sells for a lot. We got about 500k a day from this farm. Keep in mind it only works if you're AFK, so we have an AFK pool directly under it, so make sure you're doing that. Again, around the same time as the magma cube farm, you're going to want to get yourself a pair of farmer boots. By this time, selling all your pumpkins or whatever you're farming is going to get you enough money to make the magma cube farm, but you're also going to get enough pumpkins to make farmer boots. They take 4 stacks of enchanted pumpkins and pumpkin collection 9, which is 50,000 pumpkins harvested. And we don't have farmer boots. These are actually AirPods, just so you know. They're the next gen AirPods. So if you guys want to buy them from us, we're open. So yeah, farmer boots are really good because they make you a lot faster, and it's based on your farming level. So if you have a high farming level, you'll go Mach 8. Speaking of Mach 8, now you're going to need an upgrade on armor. Okay? The last upgrade you had was Lapis Armor, and that is really not cutting it anymore. You're having a hard time surviving. You're going to need some young dragon armor. A lot of people say, go from Lapis to Hardened Diamond, maybe like Ender Armor or something. But honestly, if I were you, I would just skip to young, because there's no need to buy any of those in the middle. You can do with Lapis. But young armor, it's going to cost you about 3 mil, so it's very expensive, but with your Magma Cube farm and your Raider's Axe, you should be fine after a bit of grinding. So Young Armor is really good for damage, health, and most importantly speed. It's paired well with the Farmer Boots to help you in your farming adventures, and it'll help you waste more of your life away. This is the opening to the mid game. All this stuff here is early game, and once you get yourself some good old Young Dragon Armor, you've officially entered the mid game. Now that you're in the mid game, next on the list, Radiant Power Orb. You're going to want this green booger because you're going to want to start doing Slayers, and this is going to help you and it'll do wonders for you. What this does, you place it down, and it uses its booger powers to heal you, and it regenerates a portion of your max health, and it's just really helpful. You cannot die. Well, you can, but it's a lot harder to die if you have the booger power. So, after you do that, you're going to be like, dang, I suck. I do no damage to these Slayers. My Raider's Axe is good for money, but it doesn't do any damage. Now you're going to want this, the legendary aspect of the dragons. It doesn't matter if it's reforged to legendary. I just said that. But you're going to want this sword because it does so much damage. I still use it. Oh, wait, that's a Reaper Falcon. I still use it, as you can see. So it's definitely a mid to late game sword. I suggest you get it sooner than later though. It will cost you about 3 mil again just to buy one sword. I know it's expensive, but trust me, it's worth it. You'll do way more damage. You'll easily be able to one-tap Zealots, and it'll help you with Slayers. So after this, you're going to notice that your talismans are not helping you as much as they used to. You're going to want to get some medium talismans. So Feather Ring here represents some medium mid-game talismans. So maybe if you had a feather talisman, upgrade it to a feather ring. Maybe get some rare talismans, get some more uncommon ones. I don't know. Once you get a few more talismans, you'll do a lot more damage, and it'll help you a ton in your Skyblock adventure. Now after that, you need a bow. You have been going the entire game without a bow, and now is finally the time you need one. Maybe it's for dragon fights. Maybe it's for Slayer. I don't know, but you need a bow at some point. And we put it this late in the list because, I mean, they're not super useful in the early game, even the mid game for that matter, but it's definitely going to be a really good bow. And definitely get the Runins. Don't get the Hurricane bow. The Runins is like not much more expensive than the Hurricane, and it's like infinitely better. So just get the Runins. I mean, the price keeps changing. It's shooting down. Last time I checked, I think it was going for like 550k, so it's relatively cheap. Now you have your bow and your sword. You're going to grind some Slayers. You're going to get to Wolf 6, get this Mana Flux Power Orb. This is literally an upgraded version of the Radiant. It looks super sick, and this will help you greatly. It was such a relief when me and Guttermite got ours. You heal mana, you get 10 strength, and you heal your health. And I know I said you heal mana, I meant you regenerate mana, and then you regenerate your health as well. Sorry about that. Now, Strong Armor is going to be next up in line. You've been rolling with Young Armor for a while now. I would still hang on to Young Armor because it's really good for grinding Zealots because you don't need any extra damage because you can already one-tap them. And you're fast with Young Armor. It's also good for foraging, farming. So still hang on to your Young Armor. But when you're doing Slayers or Dragons, you're going to want some strong Dragon Armor. This is, again, going to cost you between 3 and 4 mil to buy. So pretty expensive, but you should have that much by now. And it does a lot of damage. It's really good. With Young Armor, I do about 75k to Crypt Ghouls. With this, I do like 87k. So, huge difference right there. And after that, you're just going to keep grinding Slayers. And the next thing you want from Slayers is an Ornate Zombie Sword. This thing is so good for Slayers and for dungeons. And by the way, this list does not include anything from dungeons, because it would get too complicated because the meta is constantly changing and there's no real way to tell. But this is not only good for dungeons, but it's also really good for doing Slayer. So if you're almost dead, you can just right click this bad boy and it'll heal you for health. It costs 70 mana and you can do it 5 times every 15 seconds before you can't anymore until 15 seconds passes. So, you have your Ornate sword. Now you should probably go foraging. So, you probably have been doing it with a jungle axe or something, or maybe like a gold axe with efficiency 5 on it. But you're going to need to forage quite a bit because you want that extra strength to do even more damage to dragons and slayers, and maybe dungeons, I don't know. So you're going to want a tree cap because these things one tap any tree. They're really good, and this thing will cost you, I think it's like about, gosh, I don't know, I think it's around 2 million, maybe 1.5 million. It's pretty cheap, considering it's a late game axe, and you don't need a better axe than this. So, I want to ask you a question. I'm sorry, that was a bad pun. So what you're gonna want next is a Tarantula Minion. I would recommend upgrading it to 4. You don't have to, but that's what we're doing. They make you so much money. We have a massive, massive Tarantula grinder over there. If you want more details on it, you can watch our minion setup video that we did a while ago, and that covers it pretty well. And it has been the same since that video, so nothing will have changed. And you're also going to want a wolf pet. Legendary, don't get anything else unless you want to like get an epic and upgrade it to a legendary, but you're going to want a legendary wolf. If it's not legendary, it's garbage. The reason why you want this, it gives you combat XP boost. Oh my god, it is so good. Combat XP boost is one of the best things you can get in the game because most of the game revolves around combat. So, it's been a while since you've got a new pet, but now you're set. But I'm not a rapper. Okay, so next up, you're going to want some Slayer gear. You'll probably be ready to grind T3s or maybe even T4s, so you're going to need some Mastiff for Svens, and you're going to need some Tarantula for Tarantulas. I know, that's kind of crazy. So basically what you're going to do is use these armor sets, and they will carry you through your Slayer journey. Now, you grind to Wolf 6. I know we already covered the mana flux, but we have them twice because it depends what you want to do. So you can get it this early if you just go for only wolves, which is what we did, or you can opt for a more balanced strategy where you do each slayer evenly. So if you're doing each slayer evenly, then now is about the time you should be at Wolf 6, but keep in mind you'd also be at Tarantula 6 and Sven 6. So if you're going to wait this long to get a mana, then you should be at like straight 6s on your Slayers. The other thing you're going to want is some Slayer weapons. So these are all about the same time, it just depends which one you do first. So if you're doing Svens, you're going to want a Pooch sword or a Shaman sword. The Shaman sword is like the lower version, the cheaper one that's not as good. Pooch is like really good. For spiders, you're going to want a Scorpion foil. For zombies, you're going to want a Reaper Falcon. And the other thing you're going to want are some late game talismans. So this experience artifact represents all the late game talismans. I'm not talking like end game, like don't get like Seal of the Family or Hunter Ring, but definitely get some of the more expensive ones. Maybe pay up to like 2 mil per talisman. So definitely going to get pricey here. And after that, you are officially leaving the late game and entering the end game. You're going to want superior armor. We're just doing a fragment here because we're not going to buy a piece of superior just for this. But basically, you're going to want to get full superior or some late game armor set, whether it's Frozen Blaze or Elegant Tuxedo. It really doesn't matter. Just as long as it's a late game armor set, you're going to need it. Toasty! Now you're in no-life territory. Like I'm talking, why are you even watching this video? You probably know everything about Skyblock, probably more than us, honestly. You're going to want to get yourself a 50 mil Midas. Again, obviously, we're not getting a 50 mil Midas for this video. So this is just a golden sword, but you guys get the point. Get a 50 mil Midas. It's really good, especially if you apply the Gilded Reforge on it. And yeah. So now you have your 50 mil Midas, you have your superior armor. You only need one more thing. This is going to be a grind. You're going to want to get to straight 7s at least on all of your Slayers, and this will unlock the Overflux for Wolf Slayer. You can either buy it or you can grind until you get lucky and get it. Obviously, we're not using an actual overflux, that would be dumb. Instead, we are using enchanted quartz because we're too poor to use even a crystal fragment. I know, it's kind of bad. And the greatest thing in all of Skyblock, this no man has been able to get except for us. We have our secrets. The aspect of the Jerry.